the musicians tended to gather and use the record store as like a social scene because, well, first of all, we had really deep catalog, and Billboard and Cashbox would call us
every day.
They called me about once a week and asked for the top 20 albums,
what was selling,
top 20 singles, and
when something new came out, we'd always have it playing over the, like when Apple 101, the Beatles' White Album came out, that was played 24/7 at the stores. Or when Nashville Skyline came out by Bob Dylan, I remember that one. And they didn't do that at the other big boxes, you know, at the Wards and all them. They just put it on the shelf.
Yeah, you go into a drug fair and they just have bins of records. Nobody would know anything about it.
Right.
But being that most of us were musicians, and the musicians would come in and hang around and ask us what was new, what was good. There was always, back in the 65, 66, there was a definite dichotomy between the hippies and the greasers. There weren't really any hippies in 65, but there was, like, you were beginning to see the glimmer of love with Arthur Lee and the Seeds and
Jefferson Airplane,
early Buffalo Springfield,
Steppenwolf.
Yeah, well, even before that. But there was definitely, you know, there were the soul band people with the horn sections, and there were the rock band people that didn't have horns, and
R&B.
They were always bad mouthing each other. And I'll never forget the day the Revolver came out. There was a song on there with horns, "Got to Get You Into My Life," and Eddie Becker, who was a guitarist, I'm sure you've interviewed him. He really didn't remember this when we talked about it a few months ago, but he came into the store and he was always bad-mouthing the Beatles. Oh, they're a good band, but they don't have any horns. They can't be a real band. And so I put the record on. I didn't show him what it was and played about halfway through, and he goes, you know, that's pretty good. I'm like, it's the fucking Beatles, man. Kind of rubbed his nose in it. He didn't like that, but that's okay.
But that's, yeah, I guess there was a lot of diversity in the music scene, really, around, you know, but this was in the mid-'60s. Yeah, only thing I wanted to ask, where did you each go to high school? And did you, you know, you're both from here?
BCC, didn't you? Or WJ?
Yeah, I went to, first 2 years of high school was at a boarding school in Italy. And then I was in a military school in Germany. And then I went to Gonzaga for the last year and a half.
And I went to Einstein right here in Kensington, all 4 years.
So you both kind of witnessed the emerging, you know, you had a front row seat at what was happening culturally.
Yeah,
Mike's a little, you're what, 62?
Almost.
I'll be 61 next week, so we're close to the same age, but he started Empire long before I did. I was in the Army in 67. You know, I was busy doing other things.
Yeah, there was it was kind of unique watching it gel, because you had the soul bands, you know, and that was really good music back then. And you had the people that liked the soul music, did not like the hippie music. They just hated it.
And there was the crossovers.
Well, there were, and it became
Isaac
even
Hayes and that kind of thing.
Well, it became even more pronounced when I believe it was the Temptations came out with a psychedelic album back in 68 or 69, maybe 70. Papa was a Rolling Stone, and they did their black psychedelia, but it really started to cross over when the soul music people discovered pot, and the only people they could buy pot from was the hippies, and they'd go over to the hippies' house, and the hippies would be playing Led Zeppelin or Jimi Hendrix, and it just progressed. That was a big equalizer back then as far as melding the different styles of music together.
It makes sense, I guess.